I think that we became involved in the issues with turbines in the early 2000s, more because the turbines were going to be put in around the Bruce Trail, which we enjoy both summer and winter.
Yeah, I
but
agree.
As time went on, we started to learn a lot more about turbines, and there was a proposed project around our houses. And we continued to fight with various groups for many years. And then it became very obvious that the turbines were a go. And Kathleen Wynne won a majority, so we knew that the turbines were now reality. And so I started to get ready to sell the house. Probably the first real concern was the health issues, some of the things that we had seen. And I think the real deciding factor for me was a slide that I saw that Dave Colling had shown me about blood cells, red blood cells. And because we both have health issues, and Barry in particular had blood disease, I decided there's no way that we were going to stay. And the property values were going to go down, and sure, maybe in time the property values are going to go back up, but at our stage in life, do we really have the ability to stay at this property and look after it for the next 10, 12 years to wait for property values to go back up? I mean, this is our retirement money. So we decided that we were going to sell prematurely, like we were being forced out of our houses because we weren't really ready to move yet. So that's basically what we went through.
What effect did this have on your family, this decision?
Well, it was very stressful. Very stressful.
And other ID number. What can you discuss the events that led you to decide to leave your home pre-turbine?
Well, we bought our property probably in 2007. At that point in time, there was no projects up and coming. I'd been involved with fighting the turbines for quite a lot of years, and for me it was just wrong for the 167 that Galen, we can.
It's okay, it'll be redacted.
Okay.
So will the shit and any other bombs we drop, don't worry. It's okay.
You know, when it was going to go through the Bruce Trail and Grey Highlands and the Blue Mountains, and we did an awful lot of work to try to get that canceled, and it got canceled. So then the wind people got smarter and knew that they would have to do smaller pods if they were ever going to get these things to fly, and that's what they ended up doing. So this was supposed to be our last house. We put everything we wanted into this house because this was going to be it. It was going to be a place to entertain. It was going to be a place to have our kids, to have our grandkids, and live under the illusion that we were on acreage, but we still were in suburbia. And then when it became apparent that there was a project proposed, even at that time, I wasn't really thinking of moving or anything like that. But then when I realized I was going to be surrounded by 5 turbines within a kilometer of my house, and because I had met people that had health issues concerning the turbines, I didn't know if I was going to be one of them. And I could not put myself, my husband, my kids, or my granddaughter in jeopardy. So my dream house, I put it up for sale. Before the turbines started, they went up.
And what effect did this have on your family and yourself?
Big effect, because we hadn't planned on selling. I mean, this was going to be it for my husband. You know, he doesn't have great health in the first place, and now he knows he has the daunting task of building another house, you know, on land that we had wanted to, you know, try to keep in the family, but it, when we had to move, then it all came down to finances because, we realized that our house would be worth not as much as what it would be worth if there wasn't turbines. And because we had the property, we didn't want to outlay any more money, to rebuild and everything like that. So, I never recovered really the loss in my house for the first year. I felt, I'm an army brat. Home is where my family is. I've never had an attachment to a house, but this was the house that I was attached to grow old in with my husband and my family. And they literally took that away from me.
The only thing I can think of to ask you to expand on was you both said you were fighting turbines early on. What made you decide to start fighting projects that were coming into the area and elsewhere?
In the very beginning, it was aesthetics, because the look of it. I mean, that's the very, very, very beginning, before the Green Energy Act and all that kind of stuff.
Our trails where we walk, the beautiful countryside.
We thought we lived in the most beautiful part of the world, or Ontario, and I know there's a lot of people that think the same thing, but that's how we thought of our area. And we just thought it would be a blight on the land, and that's how it started. But then we realized that it was more than just the looks of it. It was what they were doing to the health of people, and we just knew that it was wrong. And
in the beginning there weren't any turbines up. The first project was the one in Melanchthon. So was that 2006? So we'd already been involved for a number of years by that point. That's when things really started to change.
Yeah, and that's when we noticed that it was really heating up in communities, pitting people against people, because some people wanted it, some people didn't want it. You became involved, Lori, and you just sped everything right.
Redact that.
Sped everything up, right? And then we started to broaden our horizons then, and started to get more people to start to take notice. How many halls have we been in the course of this journey, trying to get the information out to people that, quite frankly, didn't care, and it's even harder to have something happen and see that people just don't even care. They don't care that you had to sell your house. They don't care that you might not have had your health. They don't care.
And that's the government too.
Exactly.
That was a real eye-opener about how the government manipulates, and they don't care.
And because of the hydro situation, I know winds put the cost of hydro down, but when with my new house, I decided to go for a propane dryer because I want to get away from any hydro costs that I can, because, it's very, very expensive, and it's expensive because of this.
Okay. Do you have any further comments? Take your time.
We probably gave 14 years of our lives to this, and a lot of money. People don't understand that, how it can be that way, but, there's always the people that do that. Now, there's a lot of people that have contributed far more than I ever did, but, it's a financial cost as well.
Well, the other thing too is I felt very depressed after I moved too. It's just hard to be forced out of your house, and even though the turbines weren't up, and it's hard to still think, okay, this is real. I'm moving because of the possibilities that I'd seen so many people suffer, that we have to get out of here. But, your heart definitely is not in it.
Go ahead. Thank you, guys.